All right, next example. Now we're going to expand the scientific notation to standard notation. Standard notation, just a number that the form that you use all the time, standard form. So now you have decimal point right behind 6. So which means, and then you're going to multiply by 10 to the 5th power, which means that you're going to move a decimal to the right because numbers are getting, if you have like the positive powers, this is a positive integer, right? That means number is getting bigger. The numbers are getting larger, numbers are getting bigger. And how many times do you need to move a decimal? 5 times to the right. So when numbers are getting bigger, when it's a positive power, you're going to move a decimal to the right. Okay, to the right. So now to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you stop here, and then you're gonna fill in with the 0. So now what's the number? 611,000. This is a number, same number but different form. So this is a scientific notation, this is a standard form. So if you have this on your paper, then you're good to go. And number 4, it's the same thing, 715. You start from C, and then you're going to move a decimal. How many times to the? You're going to move it 7 times, but how to where? Left or right? If it's positive, it's always going to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you stop here, and then you fill in with the 0. So now it's a really big number. 71500. How many zeros at the end? Just be careful. So it's going to be, we're going to pull the 0, so 71,500,000. So I need you to put this on the paper. And you should be able to do when it's negative, but I'll show you more example later. All right, now we have 2 scientific notations on the top and the bottom in the fractions, but don't panic, it's okay. We're going to change this to standard form. So now let's move how many times? 4.5. You move a decimal how many times to the right? Both are positive, so you always move to the right. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You stop here, and then you're going to plug in fill in with the 0 and 3. Now you're going to start from 3. 3 decimal is right here, right behind the whole number or integer. So now 10 to the 2nd power, you move how many times? 1, 2. So now you're going to fill in with the 0, right? Fill in with the 0. So now you're going to simplify this. 4, 5, 0, 0. How many zeros at the end? 4. So there's no 5. There should be 4 and 300. And how many zeros can be simplified here? How many zeros are canceled out? Divided by 100, divided by 100. So 2 zeros are gone, right? And 4,500 divided by 3, 4,500 divided by 3, it is 1,500. So change everything to standard form first, standard form, and then you're going to simplify. And now 8, it's the same thing. You move a decimal how many times? 6 times to the right. So decimal is right behind the whole number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You stop here, and then you're gonna fill in with all zeros for all 6 places. And 2, 2, and how many times you move a decimal? 3. 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And how many zeros can be canceled out here? 3 zeros are canceled out. 1,000 is divided by on the top and the bottom, right? So 8,000 divided by 2, 8,000 divided by 2. If you just divide 8,000 by 2, it's going to be 4,000. Change everything to standard form first and then simplify. All right, let's rewrite this number. This is really big number, and let's just put it in a scientific notation, because scientific notation, it's much simpler, right? So C should be between 1 and 10, but 1 can be C, but 10 cannot be C because 10 is still too big. So it has to be just 1 be less than 10. All right, so and this one should be integer. We're just talking about really big numbers, so integer. Here, we're just talking about the positive, but we're going to learn about negative too. So now, which number can be c? C times by 10 to the nth power. Can 17 be c? 17 is still too big, so because it's not less than 10. So I'm going to put 1.7. I'm going to put a decimal between 1 and 7, which means 1.7 is between 1.7 is between 1 and 10. So we're good. We're good to go. So times by 10 to the nth power. So how many times we need to move a decimal to get to, because I just, put decimal here, but originally the decimal was here, right? Because it's a whole number. So I'm going to just move this decimal and I'm going to count how many numbers of zeros I need to multiply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which means you're going to multiply 10 to the 6th power, which means you're going to multiply like a million to get to this number. So if you write this is a scientific notation, and this is a standard form. You should go back and forth, like going this way or this way. You should be able to do both, and this is much simpler. You don't need to worry about like, oh, how many zeros are at the end. You don't need to worry about it, and you just sometimes scientific notation is more accurate, and more accurate to see and calculate. And number 2, expand this. So now we have decimal right behind 6, and then how many times you need to move a decimal to the right? It's a positive number, so you're going to the right. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You stop here, and you're gonna just add 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're seeing the whole, right? 6, 7, 8. Okay. So now how many zeros? 1. You just put a comma, place comma. So this is going to be the answer. So if you want to rewrite it, we have 9 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So if you have to calculate with this number, you're going to do mistake. Many people will do mistake. But if you have this scientific notation, it's much simpler and it's easy to calculate. And this one should be number 3. Okay, so we already did this. You have to change everything, change both to standard form. So let's go. You move decimal. Decimal is right behind 5 for whole number, because whole number is a decimal. You don't see decimal, right? Because it's hiding behind the number. You move 1, 2, 6 times. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you're going to fill in with all the zeros. Okay, so now we have 6 zeros after 5. So this number is actually 5 million. 5 million is a really big number. And we have a decimal here, 2.5. And how many times do you move? 4 times to the right, because the numbers are getting bigger because you're multiplying like 10,000. So the number should be getting bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to fill in with all the zeros. So now, how many zeros can be simplified? 3 zeros multiplied, 3 zeros are multiplied, and 3 zeros are multiplied, right? So it's going to be 5,000 divided by 25. Let's do 5,000 divided by 25. So it's going to be 250. And so zeros are here, so I'm going to just add 0. So the answer is going to be 200. And for the homework, those are the answers.